country and the city should be relatively straightforward. What do you see here that kind of would give it away without like it being written in text?
Um, so the buildings are like a very light color, like this very pale color. Especially like the taller high rise, like almost every high rise in Argentina is like this pale color, like either white or a light beige. And then sometimes they do like incorporate some brick on it, but usually it's just like that color. And then let's see. I guess I don't I don't know exactly.
Mm, but I'm seeing here we have a lot of those sort of like flat roofs with the kind of balustrades on top.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if they were like, yeah, there are some with the balustrades on top, yeah. So that would fit.
Yeah, and especially like on this house here. This one kind of reminds me of Argentina, like with like wrought iron balcony and like the sunken balcony and the kind of decorations around the windows. Kind of
Hmm.
reminiscent of like Spanish or Italian style from the turn
Hmm.
of the century, and there's building next to it as well. So that's what I personally use sometimes as well. Okay, so if you don't have more to say about this place, I guess we can move on.
Hmm.
Okay, so I will be guessing in Santa Fe. I won't be looking for the street, but we should be near downtown. Oh, it's not even Santa Fe. Oh. So, we are obviously in Chile. Well, how far north or south do you think we are?
I would say like south of Santiago, but north of Concepcion. So like I was looking at like San Fernando or Curico, like that sort of area.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah, definitely,
It's
definitely.
like
Sorry.
no, you what
Yeah,
you
it
can
definitely
say.
feels kind of Mediterranean to me.
Yeah. It's like yeah, it's like California, like very similar to California in terms of landscape.
Yeah,
That's usually what I go off of.
yeah. Now that you mentioned it, those mountains do look like very like LA-ish. Also, I wanna say I don't see a lot of wood here. Uh, I don't know if it's painted or if these buildings are just all brick, but they would kind of make me decide that
Yeah,
that's not really like that far south.
yeah, there's not too much wood here. Um, like I think like one of the things that I do also see in Chile is like the roof where it's like coming towards the street. Like you have the or not towards the street. It's like
Oh yeah, the like
where
covered
where
entrance,
you have the top. Mm,
or
no, no,
what do
no.
you mean? What do you mean like? Mm,
Um, on the other side of the street, like that house that has like the little bit of a wood framing.
oh yeah,
Um,
the like one with the green thing.
yeah, like that sort of roof. That's like something I
Mm,
see in Chile a bit more than in other countries in Latin America.
interesting. Yeah. Also something I noticed in Chile is that how like disparate it is. Like you get a lot of like one story or max two-story buildings, and then you get just these big ones. Also the
Yeah,
roofs are, in my opinion, a lot steeper than like further north. Mm,
yeah, yeah.
okay. Yeah. Nice. So if you have nothing more to say about this one, think we can move on.
Mm, yeah, no.
Okay, so I'll follow your advice and go San Fernando, and it's what is this? What is this called? Vincente de Tagua. Oh, interesting.
And
So My thought here was actually I'm not entirely sure with this kind of. Initially, I thought San Carlos Bariloche, but that feels like a little bit too large to be San Carlos Bariloche. So I was thinking Ushuaia, but I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I would probably
Um,
go San Carlos Bariloche.
yep, it is San Carlos de Bariloche.
Oh, nice, nice.
Um, so if with Ushuaia is only Gen 3, and also it's like it would be a downhill slope to the south. So, and I don't think Ushuaia has buildings this tall. San Carlos de Bariloche is fairly large town, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I kind of always imagine it as like an alpine like ski center, but yeah, it is pretty
Mm-hmm.
large. And I did remember
Yeah,
that they actually do have Gen 4, so
yeah. So yeah, the thing about like San Carlos de Bariloche is that the coverage is like winter Gen 4, and it's like there's some winter Gen 4 in like other places. Like I think that one location in Rosario is also winter, but like you can just tell when it's San Carlos de Bariloche because it just looks like a little bit like colder with like the evergreens, and like some of the architecture had like sort of that feel of like a ski town. Like I think there was one to like the southwest, a building to the southwest that had like that at the entrance. It had those like little like roof things that remind me of like the like some like alpine area.
yeah, yeah. This is really interesting. Like, it it just feels super European out here. With like the like
Yeah,
this great stone like awnings around windows. It's something I would see
yeah.
in like more modern buildings like northern Italy or Spain. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Also, the high-rise buildings I mentioned before, like with that either beige or white color, and I
oh yeah,
said that there could be like brick parts to the building as well. Like like I think that one building to the north like pretty much describes perfectly like a typical Argentinian high-rise building.
yeah, yeah. This really makes sense. Also, you have some wooden elements or on this like wooden, no, not wooden, on this brick house to the right. Oh, it even says Bariloche. Oh my god, I didn't even see that. Well, apologies everybody. We have a lot of wooden elements here, which kind of points towards like very southern Argentina.
Yeah.
Like Chile, I feel it has wood like a lot more further north. But in Argentina, I feel like it's pretty much relegated to like Bariloche and more southern.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, very good. So I think I'll guess, and we can move on to round five. Um, nice. I think I think the fact that the map is like all green in Bariloche kind of makes it seem not as urban to me. I don't know why I kind of associate it all as like being one giant park.
That is interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry everybody, but I'm missing the Bariloche thing on the window. Let's where everybody guessed. Okay. Most people went further south. We had some Ushuaia guessers, Punta Arenas
Mhm.
guessers. Yeah,
Oh,
various.
I should say that the Gen 4 coverage in like the Patagonia area of Argentina is only limited to the San Carlos de Bariloche area. Like there is no coverage further south than there. Like it there's like one road, like the national highway that goes south from San Carlos de Bariloche, but it like immediately turns around like after like the first lake, I think. And then it goes a little bit north towards No but it like kind of stops halfway between San Carlos de Bariloche and Neuquén.
Oh,
And
interesting.
then all of that area like right near San Carlos de Bariloche with like all the alpine skiing areas that's like covered in.
So, Yeah, I was thinking the like somewhere around Guadalajara, like sort of the. I was gonna guess like halfway between Guadalajara and Aguascalientes.
Hmm, good guess, because that's where exactly where I guess.
Oh, nice.
I went, I think, Tepatitlan, that town.
Oh,
Um,
Tepatitlán, right.
yeah. I completely agree. I think. But I kind of want to hear what you what made you think that, because
Okay,
that
so
was like a very similar guess to me.
yeah, so it's Mexico from these like one-story like sort of gated, colorful houses with the flat roofs. Then there's kind of like dryish. We have these mountains which aren't like super deserty, but are also like covered in shrubbery and that kind of stuff. We have these like tall, almost like cypress trees, so that all puts me to like a drier area. So I
Hmm.
shouldn't be like very close to Mexico City because it's like more temperate. Probably shouldn't be like near Tijuana because I think there would be like more deserty or that kind of far north, and for the south it would also be like more temperate. So I was thinking this kind of area would be like the perfect sort of hedge spot for that.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I would say that like the kind of brick used here also points me towards this area, this like light red, like this light color brick, but it's like a red brick, it's not gray. Because like I said before, like the gray is usually used in the higher altitude areas like Mexico City, Toluca, that sort of area. And then this kind of brick is often used in like the central like plateau area.
Wow,
So
wow, big bearing moment. Uh, yeah, I didn't even pick up on that at all. Very nice, very nice. So I'll try guessing like Yahualica, and let's see where we are. Oh, it is San Luis Potosí. Interesting.
okay. Yeah, I mean, it's all sort of like that central plateau area. I don't think, yeah, I think we had the right idea there, and really that sort of area does look sort of similar.
All right, so yeah. Well, out of interest, where did you go?
I went like Lipari, like
Yeah,
I don't know
Lipari.
what those islands are called, yeah, but those
Uh,
I went there.
yeah, the Aeolian Islands, I think. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's something I've definitely considered. So yeah, this is Sicily. We have lots of flat roofs or like very like kind of shallowly inclined roofs with basically no overhangs because it doesn't really rain a lot here. We have these like simple sort of decorations above the windows, which is very typical for southern Italy. Um, the color of these houses is also very reminiscent of Sicily. Like as long as you go like to southern or western Sicily, uh, basically most of the houses are this like beige or kind of like sandstone limestone color, either like natural stone or like painted as well. So that combined with the flat roofs definitely indicates like southern-ish Sicily. Um, with as for mountains here, I definitely considered Lipari, but what this super reminds me of is like the island of Maretimo. But I know it's not it, so I'll try to go for Favignana, and we'll see. Nope,
I didn't
it's
even know about those islands, yeah.
Scopello. Actually, my second guess there was Castellamare del Golfo. I, yeah, I definitely remember know where. I definitely remember where I remember those mountains from. Those are the mountains around San Vito lo Capo. There's a street view on one of those roads there. I was looking at it fairly recently. Um, So yeah, that definitely should have remembered that. But yeah, so we had epoch factoring in Lipari. Then we had a bunch of Calabria, which would definitely be the right idea. Uh, yeah, we had a lot of like northern Italian guesses. Yeah, the main thing here was definitely the flat roofs with the like beige or limestone-ish color, which you do which you do see like it almost looks like Malta without the like covered
Hmm.
balconies. It's definitely has like very similar vibe. It's like this, like basically anywhere like south of Catania and west of Cefalu. But yeah, so I'm closing guesses now. Where did you go?
I went Slovenia, but now I know it should probably be Croatia.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking as well. It's actually a pretty weird place for Croatia. I
Yeah,
definitely understand why
the
you would.
architecture. Yeah, the architecture feels more like Slovenia, I would say. There's like some wooden elements in the houses, like that you would see in Slovenia or the Alps.
Yeah, yeah, especially the balconies. This is like super reminiscent of like the Styria region in Austria as well. Um, However, yeah, there is one region in Croatia where you find this kind of like traditional architecture, and if I'm not, it's like the region close to Slovenia, like between Karlovac, Zagreb, and like Varaždin. Uh, you see a lot of like very Slovenian inspired houses like this with the wooden balconies,
Hmm.
um, wooden shutters, even all wooden houses. You actually very rarely see all wooden houses in Croatia. In Apparently it's called Zagoria, the stories. Thank you. In my experience, you like in Croatia you either see like all brick houses in the north and east, or like stone houses in the south, and like all wooden houses are only in that like a very foresty area, sort of in the center of the country around Zagreb.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I'll definitely try to go there. Let's say Justrebarsko. Oh, Slun. Very cool. Yeah, it's sort of the central area, like Karlovac, Ogulin, Zagreb. So, like very similar to Slovenia. Can be very confusing. I definitely get I think at this point I lost two like Europe streak attempts in this area, and one of them had like all wooden house. So that's kind of when I remember it from.
I went like near Andorra in the Pyrenees. Like that stone just reminds me of it, but I guess you find that in most of the southern part of the country.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad guess. However, like personally, I think in that part you would see a lot more like wooden elements. Like you would see entire wooden floors, a lot of like wooden balconies. To me, this feels
Hmm.
like a lot like warmer. Um, we have a lot of like these light blue and blue shutters, which in my mind I associate a lot with like the southeast, like Provence area. Um,
Hmm.
Also, we have this like a very rough stone, which like indeed it is common in like the southern part of the country. All in all, this is like very reminiscent of like the southeast and like almost Italian to me, like these giant overhangs. Yeah, as I said, these kind of light blue and blue shutters. We do have like a wooden balcony here, which yeah, you would kind of see this in like Catalonia as well, which is true. Also on this hill here, we have like cypress trees, which also associated with Provence, kind of. And then we have this mountain, which there's like a valley running north from Nice, um, like close to Nice, I think, which has very similar mountain like sides to it. So that's probably I'll that's probably I'll go myself.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Pyrenees are bad guys here, but from just a, I don't really have a good way to explain it either. Like, from just a subjective perspective, the southeast feels better to me here. Also, I feel like in the Brenian region, you would see a lot more like natural wooden shutters, whereas here
Hmm.
they're painted like blue or white mostly. Yeah, and
Okay.
also like for France specifically, I feel like you do have like curved shutters here, which you don't really see in like Spain or Italy. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, I just said okay.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, I think that the shutters thing might help. I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, let's see if I'm completely full of shit. It is the southeast broadly. Yeah. So it's close to the valley, but from Avignon to Lyon. Okay. So obviously it's Iceland. I'll kind of point out some things about the house as well. So we have these like very colorful metal roofs, which are typically Icelandic. Like you don't really see that in like Scandinavia or continental Russia either. Like like bright reds, bright blues, bright greens. But it's gonna be like just plain metal as well. Also, these houses kind of with these like very straight sloping roofs, which is kind of weird to me for such a rainy place. But you know, whatever floats your boat. And also on this
Yeah.
house here, you see this kind of like two-part system which they have in like northern Norway or the Faroes as well, where you have the like masonry bottom floor that's like painted some bright color, and then you have the like wooden actual house on top. And yeah, I kind of theorized it's because of the moistness that so that the like wooden part doesn't, this is actually for habitation, doesn't get as moist. But yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, we are obviously in Iceland. Do you think you got the right town or the right place?
I think I got the right town. I don't know if I got the exact like 5K, but I think I lined up the little like thing on the left side on the like kind of sticks out, and I think
Okay.
I found that on the map.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's Neskopstadur. Just from a quick glance. I think it might be here actually. Uh, oh, there's a bit of a break between houses, so I don't know. Yeah, it might just be stupid. The thing that was struck me about Icelandic houses is how big their windows are. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of weird. But I think like most Icelandic houses actually have like free or extremely cheap heat and like hot water because of how much geothermal energy they have. So they can probably afford it. Oh, you said ocean. Oh yeah, I did say ocean in the west. I'm sorry. Uh, so something in Brazil for sure, and I'm thinking like Rondonia. Oh, how wrong am I?
Unfortunately, quite a bit.
Ah, crap.
Yeah, this is Mexico.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, yeah. That's why you mentioned the sun, right? Okay.
Hmm.
So where do you think we are in Mexico?
I'm thinking Veracruz. Um, like this definitely feels like Gulf Coast. It's like flat, very tropical. Like this area is almost all like farmland. Um, yeah. There's a bollard there, I think, with the white and the black bit at the
Oh,
bottom as well.
oh crap. Yeah, I don't remember the
Hmm.
Latin American bollard meta at all. Oh yeah, now I actually do see the buildings like being very colorful as well, which kind of should have pointed to New Mexico as well.
I think the use of the columns in front of the on that one blue building, that kind of, and the white or the red and white building as well, that sort of feels a lot more Mexican than Brazilian. And the metal sheet roofs is kind of strange for Brazil. Brazil doesn't well, Brazil would maybe use that in like the Amazonian area, but I think this doesn't exactly feel like the Amazonian area to me. I don't really know how to explain it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely fair. That's definitely fair. I didn't even notice the bollard, and I probably wouldn't recognize it either, but the building's definitely, is definitely a fair point. Especially with this kind of weird arch. Like in my experience, honestly, like Veracruz is like more like less forested, but maybe like as you get closer to the mountains or something like that, it gets like more forested like that.
Yeah. When you get into like the very south of Veracruz, when you're on like the border with Oaxaca, there's like actual like pine forests there.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay, so I'm sticking with my L and putting in a Rondonia. Oh, it is Tabasco, like southern Tabasco, close to the border with Chiapas. So we're definitely right
Okay.
about the Gulf Coast region.
Yeah, Tabasco, I said it like down to like one or two states. I thought it would be Veracruz, but I can see yeah, Tabasco makes sense as well.
Okay, bam. So yeah, so I was thinking Santa Cruz de la Sierra department. How wrong am I?
You are not wrong.
Okay, great. Yeah, so so it is like a very flat, but also kind of like a little bit dryish with like with these like big cattle ranches interspersed with like jungle. So we have these like giant grandiose like ranch entrances, and we also have like usually have a lot of like big billboards for like agricultural enterprises because basically the entire province is run by ranchers and like big planters and plantations and agricultural companies and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, is there something you use specifically here?
Yeah, you pretty much described it like spot on. I don't know what is this part of the Chaco area? Like, I think it is, right?
I'm not.
Like, it's like the flat area that's kind of tropical.
Yeah, it's like adjacent to the Chaco.
Yeah. But yeah, how you said like it's a little bit drier. It's not like super tropical. And there's like a lot of agriculture around here. Similar to like I guess Mato Grosso do Sul and Mato Grosso somewhat. So yeah, but it has to be Bolivia because well, white car is probably the main thing. Like the white car, no antenna. The like style of the roofing on that like entrance also kind of reminds me more of Bolivia. I don't feel like they do that at like entrances in Brazil for like fazendas. That does feel more of a Bolivian thing.
Yeah, like Santa Cruz de la Sierra is kind of interesting in that it's like the richest part of Bolivia because I think they like found like oil and also the agriculture is like super profitable. So a lot of these guys are
Yeah.
super rich. The entire region is like really fucked politics. I don't want to get into it, but yeah. So yeah, it's definitely like a very grandiose. Also, the roads are like have like super wide shoulders usually.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of just something I've noticed. Okay, anyway, I think we can move on if you agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll guess on this road between Montero and La Esperanza.
I think that might be where I went.
Oh, we're west of Montero. And SketchUp was super close. Jeez. Close guesses now. Okay, so we are in Peru, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking of going. Thinking like being between Ayacucho and Huancayo.
That's one of the areas I was thinking of.
Yeah,
That's not where I went, but I'm not sure if I went in the right spot.
yeah. With this kind of like combination of these like super high mountains and these kind of almost lush like lowlands and like terraces stretching out of the mountains, I think of either like by Cusco, like between like Abancay, Cusco, or like between like between Huancayo and Ayacucho, and I think there's also a similar looking area around like Cajamarca, if I'm not wrong.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
that's where I went. I went near Cajamarca,
oh,
but
interesting.
yeah, Ayacucho, like that area between Ayacucho and Huancayo does look the same, like pretty much, I would say. So those were the two areas I thought. I think Cusco usually doesn't look this dry. It's usually a little bit greener and a little bit higher altitude, so not quite as much vegetation like we see here.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know exactly if it, yeah, I would say probably not in the Cusco area, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll stick with my guess between Huancayo and Ayacucho, and we'll see, I guess. Oh, and you were correct, obviously. Why did I think otherwise for a second? So, GG's to Colei. In first, Torres second, Jamal in third, RC in fourth, and Max Morris in fifth. Panchos around Cusco and Ayacucho. It was actually this kind of greener area around the Huascara National Park. Uh,
It's not really green there, and that's the highest peaks in the country. But it's like the like Juarez area over there, like that whole area is just like this one valley, and then you have these really tall peaks like right next to it, and it's sort of, I would say it's like a continuation of the Cajamarca area. It's like very similar landscape.
okay, nice. Yeah, I'll definitely try to remember that. Try to sort of vaguely memorize different types of landscapes in Peru, but it's difficult. Okay, okay, I feel like I'm getting better at it slowly, but yeah, it's still difficult for me. I
It is
think
sort of difficult.
yeah, I think most yeah we had an Argentina guesser and a Chile guesser. So I think for me like the biggest giveaway for Peru in these rounds is definitely a combination of these like super high and dry mountains with the kind of
Hmm.
with the terraces like climbing very high up the
Yeah,
slopes. Like in Argentina and Chile, you don't really see this kind of high altitude farming. It's kind of
yeah,
relegated. It's relegated to the valleys.
yep, exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like you don't really see it in Bolivia either because up there it's like just too high to like farm on the hillsides
Yeah.
themselves. So I think that's pretty much just Chile.
Um, Bolivia, yeah, it's like it's mostly too high altitude, and then when you do get into the lower altitude, it's a little more tropical. Like that road going from Cochabamba is like super rainy. So like, yeah, it's like I guess like right near Cochabamba, it's like sort of a Mediterranean climate, but you wouldn't really see the terrace farming there.
Uh, so we are in Colombia, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the specific thing you wanted to talk about?
Um, that specific color of green, like that dark green, I see that
Okay.
used a ton in Colombia, especially on like historic buildings. Like, I don't see that green color like too much in other countries. Like, what I talked about like in Peru on the geotips like architecture section of Peru that I did recently was that Peru likes to use like that solid layer at the bottom and the balconies of the same color. Like we pretty much see the exact same thing here. And so that's why I said that like I could see it being another country, but I think that like specific color of green we also see it on like some of the layers at the bottom of the buildings. Like that just kind of points me towards Colombia specifically.
Oh, interesting. It's definitely really interesting. Yeah. What kind of different? I think it's interesting that it's so colorful in general, which is like a good distinguishing factor from Peru. I think since I think in Peru it's usually white with like colorful painted bottoms of the houses. Uh,
Yeah. The pink color especially doesn't really feel like something you would see in Peru. But I mean, maybe in Lima, but obviously this can't be Lima because it's like way too green looking.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like you generally get a more like wooden elements than into like for the higher areas in the Andes, since obviously there's a lot less wood available, uh, like these covered balconies and stuff. Is there anything here that would kind of set it apart from Ecuador, apart from obviously the green?
Um, Let me think. Hmm. I don't really know if there's anything specific. Like, they're very similar. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything um in particular here except for that green color.
Yeah, yeah. Ecuador and Colombia are very tough to tell apart, like architectural for me, like in these older sections. It's
There are some things that I can use to tell them apart, but I don't see any of them here. Like this is like a typical like super historic colonial area, and
yeah,
because of that, like the two can look practically the same.
interesting. Yeah. Also, we have a question in chat. You were referring to the painted bottoms when you said
Yeah,
architecture remind me of another
when
country. Yeah.
in Peru, and I did talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry, uh, my brain is dying at an alarming rate. So,
No, no, you good, you good.
okay. Which city did you go for?
I went for Bogota.
Oh, Bogota. I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Bogota has a historic center. It's like just southeast of like the area with like the modern tall buildings.
Yeah, I actually do know about that, but I was thinking it's like I wasn't sure if you'd see like bottom floor buildings in like the former capital. So I was thinking maybe something a
Yeah, it's
little
kind of
smaller.
interesting. Yeah, no, that like area of Bogota is like super like reminiscent of like a really like old town. Like they really preserved it well. It's just like a small like quaint old town. Like next to like these like super tall buildings. So I kind of yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Interesting. Okay, okay, I'll go for it. Let's see. It is Bogota. Oh my god. GG's. I even I even beat you by a point. Uh,
Good job.
yeah. GG's.
You went one street ahead
What's
of me.
your way? Yeah. So GG's RC. Then we had Manizales, Pereira. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of going as well. I know
Mhm.
there's a bunch of like historical towns in that area because of the like coffee cultivation. So I'm definitely thinking suburbs of La Paz. Am I correct in that assumption?
Right country, wrong city.
Oh no. Is it Sucre?
Yeah, it is Sucre.
Ah. Oh, what kind of gives away Sucre here?
The landscape is a little bit drier, but sort of Mediterranean feeling. It's not extremely dry like you would see in Oruro or Potosi. Um, the mountains are not super tall. Like they're a little bit like I wouldn't say like they're not tall, but they're a little bit more rolling. Like if you look at them, especially the ones nearby. And Sucre has a ton of planted eucalyptus trees. Like that area is like full of eucalyptus forests, and you can like kind of make that out along the hillside where you're looking now.
Oh, interesting. Oh, wait, there. Yeah, I was kind of. I do actually see it now with like the mountains don't quite fit La Paz, and I think the city itself also actually doesn't look as big as you would expect in La Paz. But I didn't really
Yeah.
realize it beforehand. But yeah, yeah, like the Bolivian break is like very prominent here. Definitely with Yeah, with the concrete bands between the brick. Anything else you would kind of point out as like specific Colombian or like Sucre around here? Colombian, I mean Bolivian.
Yeah, Bolivia. Um, Not really because Sucre, like when I think of Sucre normally, I usually think of the historic center with like all the whitewashed buildings, like super nice, like whitewashed buildings with red brick or red tiled roofs, sorry.
Mhm.
This is sort of like the outer like outskirts of town where we just have like the like typical brick just like ugly looking kind of brick buildings everywhere, like sprawled. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, yeah, I think the border buildings are just glitches, personally. I'm not exactly sure though. I mean, you could blur your house out
Yeah.
everywhere, so it's a possibility. Interesting. So once again, I'll take my L, and go for La Paz. Maybe here they could be blurring the houses out because of like fear of criminals or whatever. Yeah, Gigi's RC, only one. So this is in Czechia, and the area I was thinking about was the south to southwest. So it is Gen 4. There is like if you're talking camera meta, so Czechia is like I think one of the heaviest Gen 4 countries in Europe at this point. But there is like very little Gen 4 like sort of in this area around here, like between Prague, Písek, České Budějovice, and sort of like Pelhřimov. I think that's where I drove like the remaining Gen 3 cars. Like this area, like north of Volary and on the Šumava National Park. It does have Gen 4. The whole west and northwest has Gen 4. Like basically the entire rest of the country. So yeah, and also in terms of
So interesting.
yeah, also in terms of architecture, you'll notice that these houses have very short overhangs, basically none in the front. This kind of feature of like trench houses in southern Bohemia and like the south in the southwest in particular. Like I'm thinking like Strakonice, Sušice, Prachatice, this kind of region. Also it's kind of hilly here, like almost like mountainous. Something it is like the hills surrounding the Shumava mountains, whereas like the most of southern Bohemia is like very flat, lots of forest, lots of ponds and lakes. Um, so yeah, this kind of style like we see on this house here or on that one, like with this whitewashed house with like bright red roof and extremely short or basically non-existent overhang. This is definitely something I associate a lot with like southern Bohemia, southwestern Bohemia especially. So yeah, combined with the landscape, I would go like halfway between Strakonice and Vimperk. Also we have this like castle here, which is like the similar traits, it's like bright red roof, very whitewashed. It's like Renaissance, which could be like from the Rosenberg era, which was like there's like a entire different thing. There was like a really powerful noble family that ruled this entire area and built a bunch of castles and monuments and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm actually interested to see where this is. So, uh,
I wish I knew this much about like Romania or Georgia.
uh, okay, okay. It is the correct area. We are just north of Sušice. Uh, Mokrosuke. Never heard of that, but it does look kind of nice. Yeah, but it is indeed like southwestern area. So yeah, the white bush houses with the red roofs and no overhangs. If you know in Czechia, that's basically where I'd go. Let's go. Okay. So yeah, we are in Poland. Where'd you go out of curiosity?
I went like sort of eastern, like a little bit northeastern, like near Bialystok.
Yeah, that's basically what I was thinking as well. Shimono says, I am is a name and KS is a priest. Oh, nice, okay. Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of what I was thinking of, especially considering this part of Poland. Um, yeah, so obviously this Poland. So we have this wooden house here. You generally see wooden house, like very wooden houses like this, with this kind of like rough building style. It's kind of reminiscent of like Russia or the Baltic countries, more so like Ukraine and Belarus than the Baltics for me, which
Yeah.
tend to look a little bit more like Nordic. I generally see that like east of Lodz, in this sort of area, like east of like south of Krakow, or well, not really actually. It's just sort of like north of Zamość and east of Lodz in this sort of like region. To the west, the houses are generally either stone or brick, or like have timber framed elements from the German period. To the south, there's usually some like wooden elements combined with like brick or stone, but not really like uh, all wood to this extent. So yeah, this house here definitely looks very similar to what you see in like Ukraine, Belarus. So that's pointing me in that direction. Also, if you look around, we'd have this house with the like almost white bricks, which is something you see in the Baltic countries a lot. Also, like it's present basically more or less in the entire country of Poland, but it's more common in the like northwest or northeast, in my opinion. Also, if you look south, we have this like typical brick, sort of like rectangle shape of a house in Poland, which is a big square. If you look north, we can see the metal, some metal roofs, which is kind of interesting actually. Kind of makes me think we are like more south than I thought, like maybe around Lublin or Zamość. But I could be wrong. It could just be like Baltic influence. And also, this house here, we do have that kind of. I talked about it when we did the Central European architecture thing, but we do have this like square shape with a like tent-like low roof on the top, and these tiny windows above the main windows, which is like typical for Poland. It's like the prototypical Polish house to me. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say for this one. I think I'll go. I think I'll go like here, like close to Biała Podlaska. Oh, it's further north. 0. Okay. So yeah, we are in Denmark. In case you cannot tell from this extreme overall of flags. Yeah. So the main points here, like if we didn't have the flags, we do have some very typical elements of Denmark. Oh, let me stop this. So first of all, we have the red brick, obviously. Red brick everywhere, combined with the white. That's like the typical color pattern for Denmark. On this side of the street, we have these like metal roof with this kind of metal black roofs with this kind of tiling. It's something I see a lot in Denmark as well, especially in the suburbs and rural areas. And you don't really see that a lot in the rest of the Nordic countries. Maybe sometimes like Iceland, but I don't think it'd be confusing Iceland and Denmark that much. And also we have the windows here. These windows are actually kind of baity because they look very similar to the type of windows you would see in like the UK or the Netherlands. But on this house here,
Cross, I remember that.
yeah, it is the cross. Especially with this little arch above the window. They can be like the window itself can be also arched, but it's like super typical for Denmark. Like this kind of window is very common at most of Europe, but with this arch not so much. It's like a very Danish thing. It's more like Ethernet than metal. Yeah, I'm not an engineer. I have no idea how stuff works or what it's made out of. So, but thank you for that. Yeah, so they are Ethernet, but they are black and they have these kind of stripes. Yeah, also this house here, yeah, this house here, this like three-part windows with with a double cross. It's also something that's extremely typical for Denmark, especially on larger houses in cities like Copenhagen. You see this a lot. So yeah, I don't know. Anything else you would point out here?
Um, I don't know. Like, yeah, just like very typical for Denmark.
Yeah, it's like this stereotypical Danish suburban neighborhood. Also, in this house here, we have the kind of Nordic mansard. Although you do see that more generally
Oh
in
yeah,
Sweden, but there it's usually either
it
like,
kind of just looks like
yeah, sorry.
it kind of just looks like they just like added that bit of the roof on. Like, what is the point of that? Because I feel like otherwise the building is just like cubic.
Yeah, it's like
I don't
stylistic
really
choice. I think
see the point of that.
it's like stylistic
Yeah.
choice. It like kind of like it's up space, like vertical space, without having to like make the whole building like a big cube. Yeah, but like we have a Nordic mansard, but in Sweden it would usually be like painted like either like wooden or like painted yellow or something like that. Not really exposed brick. So yeah,
Mm.
and it's really cool with the towers. I don't think it's like typical for anything. That's like these two homeowners were being weird. I'm going for my typical. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not hedging. I'm going Vela. Well, I'm kind of hedging. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my God! It's Geoguessr. I was expecting like a bigger suburb, but it's actually Geoguessr. Okay, so if so, we are in Sweden, obviously. Where did you go out of interest, like regionally?
So I wasn't entirely sure, but I was thinking somewhere between Gävle and Sundsvall.
Yeah, yeah, so very far
But
north.
I could see it maybe being even farther north. Yeah. Could be like even as far as like Umeå maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure here myself. So obviously we do have a lot of like this traditional red and white color palette, but that's essentially everywhere, like north of say, essentially everywhere like north of say Vexia and Halmstad. So you see that we do have a lot of that yellow and white color pattern as well, which kind of makes me feel it's not that far north. Because I feel like if you go like a real far north, uh, like like 75% of the houses are red and white. But we also do have a fair amount of birch trees here. We do have the E4. I think I'll go like actually no. I feel like I think I'll go like Sundsvall itself. I'm not really confident here. I feel like this could be basically anywhere in Sweden, like north of like Linköping. Because I think if we were like in like south of Stockholm, we would see more like traditional masonry buildings, whereas basically every building here is wooden. Um, and like in terms of like actual like giveaways for Sweden, yeah, this red and white color palette, very typically Swedish, and also the combination of yellow and white. It's very typical for Sweden as well, and it's not something you really see in Finland either, which is where you'll sometimes see these
Mm.
red and white houses. Neither in Norway, which is where the houses tend to be white instead. So yeah. Also, we have a Nordic mansard here, and yeah, as I said, we are in Sweden, so it's wooden and yellow. Yeah, cool. So I'll go. Yeah, I'm going for Sundsvall or Sundsvall. Actually, yeah, as you said, it could be further north. I don't really know. Yep, it is north of Umea. Cool. It should have just gone for Angel's
Oh
Wick.
wow. Okay.
Interesting.